Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to Glitter Gel Pen.
Episode 7.
We've been in it for a minute now.
Yes, I'm Jill.
I'm Alyssa. We don't have a treat this week because we've got Podmas coming out.
Yeah, Podmas is kind of kicking our butts, but it's a fun time. Go check it out. Spend all Christmas with us.
Yeah, if you don't know, we're uploading 12 bonus episodes to count down to Christmas, and every day is either a different game or a different topic, and
all revolves around pop culture.
Yeah.
And fun times.
Yeah. It's a little bit delirious over there, but it is fun.
Because we get a little bit delulu. But what's new? So how's your week been?
Well, some people have panic attacks. I have panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
But
some people have I have panic attacks.
I'm having an insomnia attack where I cannot fall asleep. Mm-hmm. I am tired. I'm really tired. And then I go to lay down and my brain is rushing so fast. And I was actually reading that it could be side effects of social media and stuff. And I've been on it a lot because of the podcast and stuff. But I'm in my busy work season too. And that's me just looking at the computer or on my phone doing something. And the insomnia is real. And I'm feeling it today. Mm-hmm. But
we're going to push through.
We're out here.
Yeah. We out here.
What's up with you?
I actually did something for once.
Okay.
I went to the mountains this past weekend.
Oh.
For my birthday celebration. It was a fun time. I took my toddler though, and so we were in all the stores, and you think, oh, this is gonna be so fun and so cute, and but she's in the store trying to cause havoc. I let her go for 1 minute in the t-shirt section because I was like, we're safe here.
Yeah.
She turned around, looked at me in the eyes, and booked it, and she was running towards the mugs, so I had to run after her, make sure that I didn't have to break it and buy it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun time. And then I went back to my normal life of literally just going to work and living life on the pod.
That's fair. I was going to quit drinking last week.
Okay.
But I've drank.
Oh.
I drank tequila today in the middle of the day.
Wow.
So we're doing okay.
You had to push through though. That you had to
tequila
get through that
is
insomnia.
An energy drink.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I know.
I just I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how I'm doing right now. I think something's wrong, on a deeper level that I'm not aware of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you tried the melatonin?
I tried magnesium.
I just thought that stuff was to make you poop.
I think you can get different magnesiums for different things, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe, take a melatonin, smoke a little something or other, you know what I mean?
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
Yeah. And then go lay in your bed.
I've thought about trying that. I'm one of those people that freaks out when they try substances. Mm-hmm. But I have thought about taking a little puff.
Yeah.
Before I, just to see if it'll help me sleep, because I've heard that when you're high, sorry, X-rated, when you're high, it's not a healthy sleep, but it's a good sleep.
Yeah.
Not good. It's not REM sleep or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's into the type of sleep they're getting now. It's the new thing to care about.
I have no clue. I'm are my eyes shut and am I conscious? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're asleep
and
it's
good. We're asleep.
Well, we can do this episode and then you can take yourself maybe a nap.
Yeah, we have our last wedding of the year tomorrow, so that will happen tomorrow, and I will sleep before that, hopefully, but we'll see. But what do you say we get into some hot topics?
All right, so Trisha Paytas.
Oh, yeah.
Was on SNL this past...
Spin the hands!
She was on SNL! I love it. I love that for her.
It was a really good skit too. I thought it was cool that she was on there as herself.
I know. That's so cool. Because typically they're a character or something, and she was Trisha Paytas.
On a podcast and everything.
Yeah.
But I feel it's cool that she's completely... She is Trisha Paytas, the podcaster now. She's not Trisha Paytas, the girl who was crazy, or the girl that started drama, or the chicken nugget.
Yeah.
She is Trisha Paytas.
Yes. I feel so proud of her. Here we are. I feel I know her. I'm oh my God, my friend made it to SNL.
I know.
I loved watching that for her. And then they talked about it on Just Trish. This week. It was her and...
Bowen Yang.
and he was on the podcast. He actually like got her there. I didn't know that.
They knew each other through something, and I forget how they knew each other, but like I didn't even know who he was until just Trish. They talked about him on there.
Yeah.
But I guess he was in Wicked?
Yes, he has. They were talking about that on the podcast, too. He has, like, this small... He says it's a small role. I haven't seen Wicked yet, but I really want to. But he says that he had, like, this small role in Wicked and did that, so... But, yeah, he wrote the sketch and had Trisha Paytas, like, in it, and so he called her up and was like, hey, could you do SNL, like, and she said that she like had to drop everything, like that she had plans and stuff, and they had to like figure it out, and she had to like get on a plane without Moses and without her 2 kids, like.
Well, it's the same week that her live show in New York was happening, which was cool, so she's probably on like a high of like career achievements right now. Yeah,
she said that SNL was like the best, like the coolest thing that she's like ever done, and she like, it's like her peak, you know. I hope that she gets to host one day.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
There was some drama. I mean, I don't know if you call it drama, but whenever she was on the Frenemies podcast, do you have any notes about this already? Because I put some videos on there.
I was an avid Frenemies watcher, so.
Okay, I never watched it. Like, I didn't start watching Trish until the Just Trish podcast.
Yeah, no, I was an avid Frenemies watcher. I've seen the clips of Ethan saying like, if you make it to SNL, like, I'll cut my arm off or whatever.
Do you want to play it so they can watch?
Yeah, you're if you go on Saturday Night Live, I will. What's something really valuable I could put on the line?
Like what?
I'll cut my arm off.
What was their relationship like on the show? Like, what was the dynamic there?
So I think it started kind of like they did not really like each other. As it continued, they became like frenemies, kind of like where it was fun to like kind of hate on each other, kind of like bash on each other, but also you could
tell, came from something real.
Yeah, but you could tell that they actually got along, but they just like to give each other a hard time.
That is a really good idea for a podcast. Like, put 2 people on a podcast together that don't like each other and watch their like relationship evolve.
Yeah, because theirs really did. I loved Frenemies. I will always be heartbroken about Frenemies ending. Because they had a really good dynamic, because they didn't just like agree with each other on everything, because they started out not even really liking each other. But like as it evolved, they had a good dynamic, like I said.
Yeah.
Yep. We're really inflating this.
I know.
This. I don't know where that accent just came from.
Sometimes we're not Southern, I feel like, and other times like it's there.
Yeah, it like really hits.
Whenever we were doing the Jeff dry shampoo, I felt like we were really like in our country bag.
Like, oh my god. Whoa, this sprayed real hard.
That's good. Really good. Speaking of like that dynamic, I want to play his current reaction to her being on SNL because it made me laugh.
Okay.
But
was this something from the H3 podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had this like idea. Me and one of my ex-boyfriends had a horrible breakup, but he was like really into music, and like, this is so stupid, and I don't even know why I'm saying it. It's because I haven't had sleep, but it don't matter. But anyway, I had this idea that like we were so like we hated each other so much. I was like, what if we got together and wrote a song?
It's giving frenemies.
Yeah, like I felt like it would have been art because like the emotions were so raw. I never like reached out with the idea, but like it was too toxic. I was like, oh no. But yeah. I just remember thinking like, what would he say if I was like, do you want to like write about it? Like working out on the remix, if you will.
That would have been kind of iconic.
I think so. Like, I feel like it would have been so weird and like what the hell?
Like, okay, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, like it would have been art. But this is Ethan's reaction to her on SNL. It was almost like narcissistic in a way, but I'll let you and the viewers go into it blind. And
okay, here we go.
I apologize to Trisha because it seems like her big moment has become more about me saying I cut my arm off. I don't think I'm even exaggerating. People magazine did a headline Trisha Paytas makes SNL cameo 3 years after her podcast co-host said he cut his arm off if she ever made the show. Why can't we just give her flowers?
It's a good story.
Oh my God.
Listen, she did a great job on her.
He's already starting off having to be like, wow, her big moment actually turned into being about me. People Magazine wrote about it. It's like, you're reaching so hard right now, Ethan. You can't stand that she's getting all this attention and that, like, people are trying to call you out and say, like, ha, look at this.
Yeah.
You have to make it about you. Okay, resume.
Her line. I wish I could show it. The crowd went crazy for her when she showed up, which was impressive. Yeah, she did good. She crushed it. So I'm happy for her. And I don't know why people always think that I'm not happy for her one way or the other. Like, other than like when we first broke up, there was like a lot of drama, but like I feel like I've been nothing but supportive of her and wishing her well pretty much like since like 3 months after our breakup. And I would be friends with her again so fast if it wasn't for Moses is just a creep and a scumbag. That's the only problem. Her husband.
Shots fired.
For real.
I saw people being like, "Oh, Ethan's probably seething right now." I was like,
Why?
definitely not. Like,
No.
how could you think that
Yeah.
Ethan would be anything but like so happy
Ethan's-
for her?
Yeah, he's moved on to his next ex-co-host.
That's right.
Trisha is
That's right.
such old news.
That's right.
In terms of beef. We love Trisha.
Yeah, so this just seems like he was trying to revert attention, like, back to him, make it about him. Because even that headline, like, was a gotcha kind of thing to him.
It was a diss to him and, like,
Yeah.
him doubting her.
Yeah, it wasn't like a let's make this about Ethan Klein. Like, Trisha's up here and Ethan's down here these days.
Yeah,
Like,
he lost weight.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's on the O or...
he needs to give me the tips. Because 2025, baby, we're doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of felt like he just like made the whole scenario about himself, and it's like I said, I never watched Frenemies, so I didn't know what their dynamic was, but it makes me more interested to go back and watch the old episodes knowing that they didn't like each other and then they ended up. But like, why did the podcast stop?
Oh,
Was it a lot?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a whole thing. It was honestly Trisha.
Okay.
She was going through it back then, and so she would get really offended by certain things. There were a couple episodes where she walked off mid-episode and was like, "I'm not doing this. We're done," and whatever. And so she would walk off, and then they would end up being back. Like, they would fix it and be back for another episode, and then things would be fine, and it would happen again. And so that last time was just a big blow up, like in the middle of an episode, and it was actually over that time. Like, they were done. So
That's so weird.
yeah.
A follow-up on a story that we did last week, the whole Breckie Hill situation with Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
A summary, if you didn't watch last week's episode, was just that Breckie Hill got famous for looking like Livy Dunn, and then she tried to pretend like that's not how she got famous. But then Sabrina and Barry Keoghan broke up, and the internet started a rumor. Well, Deuxmoi, the Instagram account, shared an anonymous blind item that Barry was seen in LA with a blonde influencer who is mildly famous on TikTok, and Breckie Hill reshared TikToks insinuating that it was about her. So the internet went crazy thinking that Breckie Hill was the one that he cheated on Sabrina with. And we can just watch her reaction, but I want to talk about Deuxmoi because there's something to this that I think is like, I don't know.
Okay, let's see here. Because I feel like you already know my thoughts on Deuxmoi, but I'll give more after I watch this and see what we have to say.
I just recently got out of the hospital. I don't know if you guys know, but I got into a skiing accident and I broke my spine. When I tell you, every single move I make hurts. But now that I'm out of the hospital, I just wanted to make this video and address these rumors that have been circulating all throughout the internet. I just moved to my living room so I can sit. But to put it simply for you all, no, I did not get with Barry. I have never even encountered this man in my life. The only time I've seen him is on my TV screen from watching Saltburn. I reposted this video that showed up on my For You page claiming that I was home wrecking Sabrina Carpenter's relationship just simply because I thought it was so ridiculous. I'm sorry, but if I really was the one getting with Barry, why in the world would I be reposting about it? What I will say, though, is coming from someone who has been cheated on in several different relationships, I would never want to home wreck any relationship or put any girl through that pain. Ever. Ever. But as far as the video goes that I reposted, I was at Boa's Steakhouse with my friends getting dinner, and I decided to review drinks on my Snapchat. And one of the drinks I was reviewing was a margarita, and I think I gave the margarita like a 6 out of 10 because I said it was too salty. Someone, I guess, took that the wrong way and thought I was making a Saltburn reference after finding out that Barry was staying at a hotel near Boa. I don't even know. Like, this whole story is so crazy to me. And then another drink I was reviewing happened to be called a Blackberry Smash on the Boa Steakhouse menu, which this person then thought was also a Barry reference. The whole thing is just like crazy to me, but I was truly just reposting these videos, laying in a hospital bed, thinking how crazy it is that someone thought I was home wrecking Sabrina. The Sabrina Carpentar's relationship. Me home wrecking her relationship, that just would never happen. But now that that has all been said, I just want to say I have never gone through a worse time in my life. While having a broken back and just constantly being told the worst possible things that you can imagine, it's gotten really bad. So hopefully this clears things up. And I hope you guys all have an amazing night. Oh, and one more thing. I hope that we can all stop spreading rumors so quickly and tearing other people down, especially without knowing the facts. I would say almost a majority of things that are said on the internet are not true. So if there's anything you take away from this, I would say take everything you see on the internet with a grain of salt. And just be kind. Love you guys.
Okay, so I just think, like, first of all, she's annoying to me because she's literally talking about how everybody ran with this, like, rumor because they thought she was saying this, like, subliminally. But it's like, no, like, we thought you were confirming it because you were fueling the fire and reposting stuff and making TikToks, like, and I don't even know that you were really, like, in a hospital bed because you sure were, like, posting like TikToks and whatever. So she's annoying.
And it's like, you can have broken your back and still been instigating the situation.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, I can't. Like, I can see her and make this TikTok, but I have a broken back right now. I couldn't have done that.
Yeah, she's annoying. But also, this just means that, again, it seems that Deuxmoi was wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? Do we think that Barry and Sabrina actually broke up then?
Here's my thing. Like, I do think Barry and Sabrina broke up because people and, like, I want to say Entertainment Weekly or whatever it's called, like, other sources confirmed that they were done. But it's like, all that the blind item says, I have it right here. I don't have to read the whole thing, but I'll read a part of it. It appears that this A-list singer who's having her breakout year and her foreign actor boyfriend are done for good. On the closing night of her biggest tour today in LA, he was busy getting very cozy at San Vincent Bungalows with a blonde, semi-famous LA-based influencer who's particularly big on TikTok. I snooped around a bit out of curiosity, and apparently he and his pop star girlfriend called it quits very suddenly, less than a week before her final shows in LA, after she found out that he had been chatting with said influencer behind her back for months, and not in a not innocent at all way. She had even gone to find him while he was filming in the UK, eager to keep him company while his girlfriend was touring in the US. I just, like, that could be anyone.
Yeah.
Blonde influencer.
How many of those are there?
In LA, like, particularly famous on TikTok. Like, that could just be anybody. And it's like, okay, so they post this. There is not a photo. This person saw them together.
But didn't take a little secret, like, sneak, like, pic.
You didn't get one picture. There's no photos of Barry that have came out from that restaurant.
No paparazzi pics.
That's
like, he's LA in the headlines right now because of Sabrina.
Yeah.
Like, so people are following him. They're being paparazzi pics.
LA is not where you go to hide.
No.
Like, that's where everyone will, like, number one, it's where the TikTokers live. They will out you. They'll be like, oh, look, I can get clout off of this. Mm-hmm. And they're going to post it that way. But it's also like, there are just paparazzi everywhere. And I just, like, I don't believe this at all in a way. Like, the cheating part specifically, I mean, maybe he did cheat, you know, like, who knows? But it's like, this blind item put him through, like, we really don't know if he did. And it's like this anonymous item tipped off such this big thing that got Breckie Hill into the news. And Breckie Hill's the kind of person where she's like, people are going to talk about me. I'm going to lean into it. Like, that's exactly what she did with Livy Dunn. And then she denied ever doing that. Like, that's literally how she got famous. And she's just been famous for so long now that people forgot that that's how she got there.
Yeah.
But it's like anyone can send in an anonymous email or message to Deuxmoi. And like, I listen to her podcast because I like to hear like some of her updates. Like, she goes into like a lot of like older reality television that I'm just like, I wasn't even old enough to be watching it. So I just like don't care about most of it. But I don't check her Instagram stories because these stupid like blind items mean nothing.
She does not validate them or look into them for herself. She might say she does, but
she just posts it, and she'll post any like general story like this, and she'll be like, yeah, we were the ones who broke the news. It's like, you broke news that also wasn't true like 85% of the time.
Yeah, I will never ever be able to trust her again after she literally went to war to say that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn were married.
She made me believe it.
Yeah, she gaslit me. I was like, they're married. Like, they're married. You can't tell me they're not married. And so then when they split, I felt like my parents were getting divorced.
I know.
And I was like, the cause of this is Deuxmoi.
Funny story is when Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift broke up, like, me and Jill have a group chat with one of our other friends, and we were talking about it. And Jill was in the group chat like, I just don't know if I can believe in love anymore. Like,
I said, if they're broken up and they're not together, I just don't believe it yet. If they're not together, then love doesn't exist.
And then
she wrote 5 albums about this man.
Yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, Taylor Swift was on stage like being like, this song's about you, Maddie Healy, I love you.
And you're like, you believe it now, Jill?
Yeah, like I was just watching a TikTok of Taylor Swift doing that after like Maddie Healy did it on his concert thing. And I was like, that really was crazy, but
that's like giving embarrassing for Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
The same as Brooke Schofield last week.
It really is. I watched it and I was like, oh my God, why would she do that? But whenever in the group chat, whenever Jill was like, she was heartbroken over the breakup of Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn. And like,
I really was. I felt like he was my boyfriend or something because I was taking it hard.
Me and my other friend, we like called each other and we were like, what is wrong with her? Like, why is she so upset?
No, but like she had the Lover album. She had Reputation. The Nice Beautiful songs were about him.
I know.
That weren't about Kanye and Kim. Like I was heartbroken. I was like, he was with her through all this Reputation stuff, and like he's the one, and then they're just not together anymore, and I felt sad. So
and
it was all because of Deuxmoi.
Yeah. Well, like still back to the Deuxmoi stuff. This is the tweet or the statement that Barry made because he actually deactivated his Instagram because he got so much hate. And the reoccurring story in all of our like hot topics today is like the internet runs wild about like even the Ethan and Trisha stuff. It's like Ethan might have made that SNL like Trisha moment more about him and like his video or whatever, but like he really is only doing that because the internet is like, look, Ethan, look what she did.
Yeah.
Look at this thing you said a few years ago on a podcast where you talk for hours at a time. Like, and I know that we just bashed him, but like, but it's just like this. And then the thing about Barry, like it kind of like it's just sad because what he said is crazy. So Barry said, he tweeted and said, please be respectful. This is after he deactivated his Instagram. And the statement says, I can only sit and take so much. My name has been dragged across the internet in ways I usually don't respond to. He did use the wrong "to" in that. Like, it's giving.
He's dumb and poetic.
Yeah, it's giving dumb and poetic. But anyway, I have to respond now because it's gotten to. I'm sorry, the grammar's so bad. Okay. I have to respond now because it's getting to a place where there are too many lines being crossed. I deactivated my account because I can no longer let this stuff distract my family and my work. The messages I have received, no person should ever have to read them. Absolute lies, hatred, disgusting commentary about my appearance, character, how I am as a parent, and every other inhumane thing you can imagine. Dragging my character and everything I worked extremely hard for and stand for. Talking about how I was a heroin baby and how I grew up and dragging my dear mother into it also. Knocking on my granny's door.
Wait, people showed up to his...
Yes. Sitting outside my baby boy's house, intimidating them, that's crossing a line. Each and every day, I work harder to push myself on every level to be the healthiest and strongest person for that boy. I want to provide opportunities for him to learn, fall, and grow. I want him to be able to look up to his daddy. I'm sorry. I can't stand that word. I can't stand it.
You didn't like it when I said it last
I know.
week.
It just makes me go, look, okay. To have full trust in me and know I will have his back no matter what. I need you to remember that he has to read all of this about his father when he is older. Please be respectful to all. Thank you. That's wild.
Yeah, the showing up at the houses is weird. Also, don't condone like telling people they're a heroin baby.
It's just mean. And it's like, I know
Yeah.
that we joke about people that we don't know on the internet, but like,
We don't take it to a too far level. Like,
No.
how they're calling him ugly and saying things like, that's too far. Don't talk about people's appearance. Like,
yeah. And it's just like, why? I think it's just the internet has just made it so normal to go so far with these things and like drag Barry. It's like, you do not know what happened.
yeah.
Sabrina could have cheated on him. We do not know.
As much as we like to think we know these people, we do not know these people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, we're the epitome of like, we pretend to be the friends with people, but it's like, we talk about it on a podcast with one another. And if the celebrity doesn't want to engage in the things that we are saying about them, they simply have to not listen to our 1.5 hour long episodes. That's easy to do. But your grandmother cannot avoid walking out her front door, like, and seeing people standing there.
Like, just imagine, she's like, oh, Barry. Oh. And she's walking out her front door with
Like,
her
you gotta do it
cane.
with the Irish accent.
Or Barry.
Woo, that was good. Oh my God.
I must open the door.
How? Okay, I'm just like, we
Am I like the queen of accents? I think so.
we just went into a real rabbit hole though. I don't know how you ended up impersonating Barry Keoghan's grandma.
You heard it here first, and I'm sure
Barry.
only here.
Anyway, all that we're trying to say is that maybe don't get all of your information sourced from Deuxmoi.
Yes,
because
for sure.
especially like, I hate that people like Breckie Hill have a platform, because like, it would be one thing. It's like what we said last week on BFF, like on BFFs. Yeah, whenever we were on there.
Yeah.
No, but it's like what we've watched last week from BFFs is like, we don't care if you are that person that like leans into the drama to get the reaction. Like, most people would, but at least be like self-aware and own it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you hiding? We can see.
Yeah.
We can see what is happening.
I can't stand when people won't just like own it.
Yeah.
Like,
Just own it.
they literally do stuff, and then they're like, I never tried to look like I was the girl that did that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's literally what you've been doing since the news broke. Yes,
Yeah.
you did. You can't gaslight the whole internet.
And it's like, Breckie Hill is just, she got famous because she looks like someone else, and it's all just really weird. But yeah, maybe don't get all of your sources from Deuxmoi.
Because they're wrong, especially if she tells you that Taylor Swift's married. I'll never get over it.
We could go ahead and jump in before we get into the big topic of the week. Y'all know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about the end of the Eras tour.
I actually wore my Tortured Poets Department sweatshirt in honor of the Eras tour.
I hate that we didn't get to see that set.
Me too. And we never will.
I know. I hope that she's not going to tour that. But like, I just want to see some Tortured Poets up in there.
I know. Maybe she'll do. She won't. So we'll just,
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm not hopeful. We'll never see it.
Wait, I want to. So I watched the Swiftologist like live stream of the last night of the Eras tour, and I want to pull up what the final surprise songs were.
Oh, I know.
Because one of them, I was like, what?
Well, okay. I saw a comparison. I'll let you say what they were first.
Okay, so the final surprise songs there were 5 different songs. She mixed up A Place in This World and New Romantics, which I thought was a bit of a flop, but I don't like A Place in This World.
Yeah.
The last one, Long Live New Year's Day in the Manuscript, I get it. It's like, she wanted, whenever she did New Year's Day, she wanted to say, hold on to the memories they will hold on to
Yeah.
you. Like, I know she just wanted to say that, so she had to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? What was your thing?
Well, of those three together, I mean, I get that it's like the ending of the Eras tour, the ending of an era, if you will. But what I saw and thought was interesting and cool was with that mashup of the manuscript is that for her last song, you know, she did the manuscript was in there, and for her first song of the Eras tour was Tim McGraw, and manuscript is
That's
the last
cool.
song on Tortured Poets, so it's kind of like
Everything she's
opening
ever
and
done.
closing the book.
That's
you
cool.
know, so
And in the manuscript, I know you get it, like with Taylor Swift albums, like I will listen, like when an album comes out, I will listen to the same like 7 to 8 songs like most of the time, and then every once in a while I'll like try one of the other songs that I don't play that much, and then I'll fall in love with it, and then that will come into my rotation as like a song that I listen to all the time.
yeah.
And the manuscript has been one that I've like more recently started actually listening to, and I was like, oh, it's like actually kind of good and not boring. It was just I was overwhelmed by all the slowness of
Yeah.
that album, like
By
at the
all,
beginning.
like at first listen, you think all the songs sound the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
But upon farther investigation, you realize that there's actually a lot there to
And
unpack.
she has a lyric in it that's like something about like the story is yours now, like because she's like written about it or whatever. And I thought that was like a cool concept for a song.
Yeah. So I'm sad that the Eras tour's over in a way. Like, I'm sad because an era's over and it was so iconic and it's gonna be legendary. Like, I mean,
It was
and literally,
legendary.
yeah, it was not momentary. It was 2 years long.
Yeah. One thought, and we might have talked about this in one of our Podmas episodes, so forgive me if we're repeating something, but one thing that like the Eras tour was my first time seeing her live, and like me and you have kind of talked about it, like we didn't really know each other before like 2017, so like she was touring Rep whenever you and I met, and like we didn't know that each other were such like closet Swifties, like to the point where like we were like stalking her on the internet, like watching her like surprise songs and stuff like that. We didn't know that until like a couple years
And
later.
I wish we did.
I know, because we could have went, but with her previous tours, every album has had so much like intricate detail like put into them, and like not that the Eras tour wasn't amazing and
It's
like
just
great.
so much to focus on. Like,
Yeah.
it's not anything wrong with the
But,
Eras tour. I
like,
understand it.
At Rep though, like the confetti was newspaper. Like the detail, I
And,
want
like,
to see it.
Just like with when she does her normal, you know, tours that are touring an album, it's like every song has an intricate set design or like
And-
intricate choreography and all this kind of stuff.
And with her, it's like I am a diehard, like I really am, but like every single song that she releases, I like it. So like I want to hear every song on the album. So like whenever she does the Eras tour, you know, she's only doing maybe 6 or 7 songs max.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea. I watch the Rep tour all the time because
Yes,
I'm like,
but now it's gone off of Netflix, sadly.
oh really?
Yeah.
Is that new?
It happened a few months ago.
I've
Something
watched
like
it
that.
fairly recently, but
Yeah.
I didn't know it wasn't on there anymore. But yeah, I just like,
R.I.P.
I'm just excited for her to do something completely new and like have a tour and it be like so detailed, because that's what I never got to experience like at her other shows.
Yeah, and I saw Speak Now when she toured that, and it was like that where
You went to Speak Now?
Mhm.
I thought you went to Red.
No, Speak Now. So
I'm so jealous.
yeah,
But was like when you went there, was Dear John like such a moment like it is now, or is it only a moment in hindsight?
it was a moment because it was like she named his name, you know what I mean? So it was like, oh my god, like she.
Were you close?
Yeah, pretty close. I mean,
Okay. I didn't know that you went to Speak Now. I need you to give me like let's talk about the experience.
Okay.
Just like tell me, like, I don't know, like tell me stuff.
so I loved that she like popped up. She had like the stage had a trap door, and like when she came up for Mean, it didn't like bring her up, it popped her up. Like it that's been ingrained into my memory since.
So she like was that the beginning of this tour?
No,
Oh, what was the opening song? Because
I don't remember.
Is Speak Now the one that they've never released the tour video for, or Red? One of them. One of the tours of Taylor Swift, it was Speak Now or Red, was directed by someone who is accused of SA, and it never got released because she cut ties with him.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever like tried to watch read or Speak Now, honestly. If I watch any of Taylor's stuff, it's either Eras Tour, Rep, or 1989.
Oh, so good.
So, but this one, I don't remember what the opening song was, but I also got to see Better Than Revenge. Back then, it was so good, and it there was a phone call, and all the things. I mean, I loved it. I actually won the tickets.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
My stepdad, he won a contest that we entered into, and it was Dress Your Dad Up as Taylor Swift. He wore my mom's wedding dress. He wore a blonde curly wig, and he had a whole beard and mustache.
Oh my God.
Or whatever. And he took a picture cuddling my guitar, and we entered it, and then he was in the top 3 because the winner got to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
I was robbed, okay? Because the people who won, they actually, so it was fan audience voted in live at a restaurant. And
what?
Yeah. So
what? That is so
okay,
2004.
So
what year was this? Probably 2009, 2010.
It was 11.
Okay.
So we went to, it was some Wild Wing Cafe or something like that at the Epicenter in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And so he had to be in this attire in Charlotte. And he got up on stage, and the audience that would clap individually for the 3 men. They'd go up there one by one, and everybody was rooting for him, clapping for him, all the things. And we were like, heck yeah, our applause was louder than anybody's, but they were using a sound monitor, and the people that ended up winning had a freaking cowbell in the sound monitor, and they knew to do that because, what do you know, they were related to someone at the radio station that was holding the contest, and they won, even though...
What radio station was it? Jill, say it. Say it.
It was 96.9 The Cat.
Oh, you got hot. You just got hot. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, I was robbed. I'm not being delusional. I was robbed and should have met Taylor Swift in 2011, and that's my villain origin story. Actually, they were supposed to, the runner-up or whatever we were, apparently, was supposed to get 2 tickets to the show, and they ended up, it's they knew that it was so obvious that we should have won that afterwards they were like, hey, we're going to throw in 2 extra tickets for you. And
probably hoping you'd never start a podcast. So
yeah.
Talk about it.
So, I got 4 Taylor Swift tickets, which, I mean, granted, I am grateful because I did get to see Speak Now. So I'm glad about that. But I should have met her back then. And, I'm so sad about that all the time.
What was the room called whenever she was it the tea room?
Yeah.
It was something like tea party kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She was 24. Or no, she wasn't that old, but she was in her 20s, right? Doing that?
89, 90. She was 22.
Oh, okay. I mean,
depending on the month, she was probably 21 because it wasn't December yet. So,
but when you think about the Speak Now Taylor, to me, she's 15 or 16. Just because she's a princess. I don't know why, but it's so childlike, and I know that was her branding and her whole thing back then, but it's just funny to think about. That was a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I think that was entertaining because I didn't know you wanted to Speak Now. I thought it was Red for some reason, which would have been such a good one to go to.
Yeah.
Again, all the attention to detail that she used to do. So yeah, Eras Tour's over.
Womp womp.
Okay, so the big news. I had been adding this stuff to our notes all week, and then the BFFs podcast came out yesterday. If you did not know, Plan Bri Uncut, the podcast, is over.
Yes, I don't know any details whatsoever, but I've seen everybody roasting Bri. They're coming for her. They're trying to, set fire to her. Mm-hmm. So,
well, what I want to do with it is I want to read everything that has happened, in order. And then I want us to give, our opinions on it. I also put, a short-ish video of Bri on the podcast and, explaining her side of it or whatever. And then we can, discuss it. Because there's just some things with the internet that I'm just not agreeing with. But, do you want to
read the statement?
Will you read the statement? The first one, the one with the flowers behind the white text. Grace made a statement first last week, and then the one with the black screen is Bri's story. So that's what we're it'll be on the screen too, but if you want to read those.
Okay. So Grace's statement says, "Hi guys, if you know me, you know I truly hate having to be serious about anything ever, but sometimes you just have to be. So here it is. Can you tell I'm trying to stall even in the weird notes app post? For months I've been radio silent about the status of Plan Bri, and it has killed me to leave you guys hanging. The plan was for Brianna and me to put out a joint statement about the end of the podcast. Everything's so weird and unfamiliar at the moment, so I've just waited for the cue to put that out. Seeing all of you tag us in your Spotify Wrapped made me feel a few things. Proud of what we've built, nostalgic for all of these years, and frankly outright heartbroken that this chapter is closed. But we agreed to make a joint statement, so I replied, cried, and chose not to repost or say anything until it was time. On that same day, you may have seen Brianna post that she's working on bringing back some version of Plan Bri. To give you guys the much needed info you all deserve, all I can say is that was my first time hearing about this. So I feel as if it's only fair to share my piece about all this jazz with you now. My favorite part of this chapter of life was not only all of you, but also getting to work with my best friend. It has truly been a dream job, and I'm eternally grateful to both Brianna and Barstool for giving me the opportunity to work on such a fantastic show with an even better team. This last year, I bit my tongue so much that I shouldn't even have one anymore. I was willing to wait out of respect, but things won't always work out the way you think they will. In fact, they rarely do. I most defiantly did not foresee any of this ever ending. I don't think I'll ever fully get into every aspect of how this came to be, but it should be said that although this was not a mutual decision, I'm realizing that in the grand scheme of things, it might actually end up being the right one. I really don't want to be the goofed up person who says things like stay tuned and big things coming, because we all know I just mean I'm working on creating another type of the same thing, but more me. That's kind of how it goes. I want you all to know that I'm staying at Barstool, and when it comes to chit-chatting on a weekly basis, I'll be right back. I'm always transparent and honest with you, and honestly, I have a pit in my stomach as I post this, but hey, that's showbiz, baby. I love and adore you guys. See you soon. XOXO.
Okay.
What's my takeaway from that?
Yeah, and then I'll share what I kind of thought when I saw it.
So I think that maybe Grace thought that Plan Bri was gonna return, but they were taking like a little hiatus, like a little moment. I think maybe that's initially what she thought, and then I think it seems to be that like behind the scenes they kind of worked out that they're just gonna be done with Plan Bri, and that it's not gonna be happening anymore.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, because like I did like actively watch the podcast, and we've talked about this even, God, I want to say it was in the very first episode of this that we did. Like the comments of Plan Bri were hate towards Bri constantly. I mean, every single comment was Team Grace, Team Grace, Team Grace. And it's like, there was not even anything to be, the energy was weird, but it was not, I don't know. It just wasn't, it was just weird to me. But, before Grace ever joined, it was Bri's podcast, and there were episodes with just Grace, there were episodes with just Bri, and like I just didn't understand, I guess, like where all the hate was coming from. Like they were just pitting Grace and Bri like against each other in the comments, and I'm sure that caused a rift. But even on our first episode, I told you Grace never said anything for Bri. Like there was never anything public said to like calm them down, because I always felt like whenever I was reading the podcast comments and stuff, it was like I always felt like Grace could have said something and made them like not treat the comment section like that, but she never did. I always felt like that. So the next statement is Bri's. So Bri said after Grace posted the story, it caused the backlash on Bri to just start again.
And that's when I like got into this. That's when I saw everything start unfolding. Because everyone was coming after Bri.
Yeah.
So
which is the whole reason that like their podcast got paused, because everything that Bri said, like she was literally talking about the Menendez brothers, and the internet found a reason to hate her for it. Like it was really getting weird. But Bri said, "Hey guys, just want to clear the air on things. Grace, I and the whole team have been well aware Plan Bri has been over for months. Grace and I have been texting back and forth for months about making our announcement video together, but she's been busy with comedy and I've been busy traveling for work. She means she was blindsided when I said I was working on bringing it back, which I was, looking for talent to hold Grace's and I's spots, because I felt it was unfair to the listeners to leave you without a weekly listen. I started Plan Bri in my dorm room almost 5 years ago and could have never imagined what it would turn into. I didn't want what was built to completely leave you all. As planned, still are working on a time to make one last podcast closing out on a positive note for you all."
Okay. So this sounds like they were on good terms. And
Yeah.
they were planning on having a podcast to close it out and say bye. So it doesn't seem like they were on bad terms about ending the podcast. Is she saying that what she meant by she's working on it was that she was not working on continuing the podcast after her and Grace ended it or whatever, but working on having someone fill their spot to do it? Is that what she's saying? I take away from that it sounds like she wasn't even planning on bringing Plan Bri back as her podcast anymore. She was looking for people to do it.
Grace knew it was over.
Yeah.
And when I read Grace's initial thing, before Bri ever said anything, I didn't get the vibe that they did not like each other. Obviously there's a rift, there's something going on a personal level, but Grace spoke pretty positively about Barstool, about Bri, and what the podcast was and everything. But my thought is, she did say that she was blindsided by Bri posting that, which Grace knew before the podcast ended that Bri was getting hate like crazy. People were hating on her, and it was so unnecessary, and Grace never said anything in that moment to stop it. And then to say that she was blindsided whenever the internet's finally coming back around on Bri, and Grace knows her, they have been friends since they were in high school. So it's just, to me, it was weird to just say that she was blindsided. She might have been blindsided by that, to think that it was going to come back without her in some way. But it was, in my opinion, when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of crappy of Grace to have done it, because I felt like Bri was finally kind of getting a break from all of the harassment online. And Grace is killing it on her comedy tour right now. She's headlining her first comedy tour, and that's what she wanted to do from the beginning. So it sucked as a fan to see Grace say that, and I thought that to myself before any of this BFF stuff came out yesterday.
And I think that, honestly, it seems to me that Bri said this, or that Grace said this not really understanding what Bri was saying when she was saying that she's got plans to work on Plan Bri.
It's clear that she didn't ask her what she was talking about.
Yeah,
she just posted
she didn't
something.
text her and ask her about it, and she just posted it publicly to the internet without coming to Bri first. Because if she would have went to Bri first, then Bri would have told her hey, yeah, I'm looking for other talent to take it over. It's not going to be just the Bri show after that. She wasn't dropping Grace and going to just do it by herself and not telling Grace that. It seems like she was going to get other people to do the podcast.
Yeah, and it's if Plan Bri was over for Bri, in my opinion, even from just those statements, she never owed it to Grace to Grace was doing her own thing at that point. She was on tour with one of the big female comedians. I forget her name, but she was doing stuff. Bri didn't have to keep even having Grace on, but Bri got her a job at Barstool.
And if you think about it, that'd be our podcast taking off, and we invite another person in, and they're frequent guests, and then they end up being a third co-host or something, and then we decide to end this, and we go and do something else, and they're mad about it when we brought them into our thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that is those are the statements. That's where it was to the public until last night. Bri was discussing it. So Bri was discussing it on the BFF's podcast. Basically why Plan Bri ended, if you want to play that.
I ended the podcast in October because it was a forum to just bully me. And on top of everything that I was going through, I couldn't take it anymore. And I ended me and Grace's, I ended our friendship. I was I have to take a step away from this, because it was constant. It was months of me being Grace, can you please just defend me? And we didn't talk anymore. And for her to post, and there was nothing going on behind the scenes where it was she was trying to I don't know, I needed her so bad. And I know she needed me too, during that year of she felt I left her. And that's why I'm saying that these are two separate conversations, because Zach ruining Grace and I's friendship is something separate than I lost, everyone's Grace deserves better. Grace lost her best friend. I lost my best friend too. I brought her to New York. She was my best friend. I brought her along for everything in my life. I gave her everything, and I would do it all over again. She was my best friend, and when things get hard and like she knew what I was going through, like I really needed her. So I couldn't do the podcast anymore because we're sitting there like pretending to be friends, and I just feel so like I didn't feel seen by her or I needed to like set a boundary of I can't continue this show anymore. So I ended the show because I couldn't do it anymore.
It honestly it doesn't seem like something insanely dramatic to me. Like I feel like it's your typical case of like friends kind of drifting apart. Like if I know I've seen the controversy online and people are saying that Bri's a narcissist and making it all about her and all this kind of stuff. But it just seems pretty, like I've known girls like this. Like it seems pretty normal that they grow up, things happen in their lives and they're sort of drifting apart. And then it starts to cause a rift because you feel like you're not as close anymore and you're like, what's up with us? And then it just keeps driving you farther and farther apart. And at that point, when they're farther and farther apart and they have a podcast together and it's not there, it's like, she's like, yeah, we're just going to call this quits, you know?
Yeah. What the biggest reaction that I've seen online, and it was in the BFF episode comments, people are saying that the public thinks if Grace was having too hard of a time watching Bri in this bad relationship, she didn't have to stick around to watch it. And I don't think that part is wrong, but people are saying that Grace shouldn't have had to stay around and put up with the stuff that Zach was putting Brianna through and all of that or whatever. But like, to me, it's like as a friend, as a longtime friend, especially with like the way that they've been friends for so long, at least you're supposed to have this like unconditional love for like a real friend of yours. That's like, if your friend is dating a guy that you know is shitty and it makes them treat you like shit and you don't want to be around while they're in that relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with like walking away from the situation. You don't want to watch somebody get put through all that. But despite how you felt, and I'm not saying there's not like boundaries that Bri could have crossed to like go too far, but like regardless of all of that, you can put your feelings down for a minute to be like, okay, she's out of this scenario. Let me have a conversation with her and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know if it's just like a me thing or like the way that I feel like I would be with my friends, but like if they were like, I was with this guy, he was mentally abusing me and I might have treated you like shit, but like I would first make sure they're good, like be there for them so that they know they can leave that scenario and then address our issues with each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, like it's just like, oh, that's so weird. To
me, it doesn't seem like this was just on one person, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing. Whereas the whole internet has been making it like it all fell on Bri and that she is this horrible person. And to me, it just seems like both of them might have had fault here. Like Grace could have, and we don't know them, so we don't really know what happened behind the scenes. But it seems like maybe Grace could have, like how you said, been like, are you good? Like, now that you're out of this relationship, I'm so, like, proud of you and happy that you're out of this.
Whenever Bri did the Zach Bryan episode on BFFs, she said that Grace texted her, and all that she said was, that must have been a weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Which is like, I always thought that Grace was staying silent too long with the whole internet attacking Bri, but Bri in the BFFs episode made it seem like Grace was getting all the praise and her comedy stuff was blowing up at the same time. It was like, it made her, she didn't want to like shut it down because she was getting a lot of positive attention and growing and getting bigger and like following her dreams. And it's like, I get that part of it too. Like, you're finally making it. You don't want to tear yourself down to get on someone else's level who's like not treating you the best right now. But it's also like, Bri is getting dragged for saying that she did things for Grace. Like, she brought her to New York. She got her a job at Barstool. She let her stay in her apartment in New York City. And it's like, but Bri did do all of those things. Like, I used to watch their podcast when Grace first joined, and like, Grace was not in a good position. Like, and not saying that like to judge her, but it's like, she was really depressed. Bri was pulling her out. Like, Bri was like, dude, come to Barstool with me. We're going to have you on the podcast until they give you a job. That is a good friend. Like, and I'm so sick. Like, I just do not understand where it's coming from that Bri was such a bad friend to her.
Yeah.
Like, not that a bad relationship excuses treating someone bad, but there is a point where you forgive someone when they were in a bad situation. And it's like, like, Bri
Bri helped Grace out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And then when Bri finally got out of her bad situation, it seems like Grace didn't reciprocate that for her.
And it's like simultaneous while Grace is like having success. So it's like, I don't know. I've had a friend that was my friend since we were little girls. And then like it came time for some stuff to happen. And like I felt like I gave and gave and gave and gave and like gave opportunity. And then when it came down to it, it felt like them being famous was like more important to them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I am done with you. Yeah. Because it was just like, I don't know, like
it can't be one-sided. There can't be someone trying so hard to help the other and the other never returns that, even in like the smallest ways, as like checking up on them after they leave an abusive relationship.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Bri never did anything wrong. Like, she probably shouldn't have even posted that they were working on bringing something back for Plan Bri, knowing that it was over. She probably shouldn't have done that because Grace wasn't in the room. But also what Bri said in the episode is that Grace was asked to do things and she wouldn't reach out to the team. She wouldn't plan anything. And like, she was just like radio silent. And so the comments on BFFs went crazy last night after this, tearing Bri down. And it's like, what? It really surprised me. So Dave Portnoy goes and comments on this. And in the BFFs episode, Dave is like, I talked to Grace and she knows that she has a job at Barstool, like whatever. So okay, this is what Dave said. This is Dave. This pile on Bri is insane. Nobody wanted to discuss this. Bri originally said she wouldn't, but she was getting so much hate that we had to. It's all anybody was asking about. Facts are the only reason Bri had to discuss this is because Grace posted that story online. We were past all the drama until that post. You may not like her explanation, but she had no choice but to tell her side. And yes, I offered Grace the chance to sit down and do the same exact thing with Josh and I. And Josh and I would try to be as impartial as possible, like we were with Bri. I never heard back, but that offer still exists. It sucks when two people you like and were best friends and who work for you are fighting like this. It's the last thing I want to be in the middle of, but anybody who thinks this is one-sided is insane. If I thought somebody clearly had the moral high ground, I would say so. I want both of them to be happy and successful and have offered both to do whatever I can to support them. And it's, to me, why didn't Grace take, like, I don't know, like, Grace posted that. Bri gets hate, and it's like, Grace has the full opportunity to stop it. If Grace really isn't the bad person here, why didn't she say anything? Mm-hmm. Why didn't she reach out to anyone? Yeah. Like, I just, like, I think people are running with some wild theory.
Because they like to hate Bri, is what it seems.
I just don't get it. I feel like Bri has pretty much always been authentic, and like, sure, she might be full of herself in some way. She is a freaking influencer.
Mm-hmm. Don't they all have to be a little bit, like, to want to be in the spotlight and to want to do, like, you have to kind of be a little bit of a narcissist. Mm-hmm. They all are.
Yeah. But I do not know. I do not get where it came from. It surprised the crap out of me whenever I saw like that was everybody's reaction. And it's people are like making videos and they're like, I always knew there was something about her. And it's like, you're a bitch. Like, oh, it makes me
you are heated.
It makes me so mad because it's these girls who don't know anything. Like, I know that I don't know them, but I have watched their dynamic from the very beginning, and I'm telling you, Grace is not innocent in this situation. Like, and they both aren't, but it's like, quit making women fight each other. Mm-hmm. Like, quit it.
Like, why does it have to be like Bri versus Grace? Why can't it just be like, oh, we're all sad that they're ending Plan Bri?
Yeah, and like, what kills me is like, Bri is now getting hate because she went on the podcast and aired out Grace, did a tell-all and all this stuff, and like, she did the tell-all with Zach Bryan, and now she's doing it to Grace, and she's the victim, and it's like, if she wouldn't have said anything on that gossip podcast where she talks about every part of her life,
people like us would have been being like, they're being biased because they won't talk about the drama with themselves.
The internet would have dragged her anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like, you might as well share how you feel.
Yeah, share your story and your thoughts, because they're going to talk about you whether you do or you don't. So yeah,
I hope Bri just do not scroll on the internet right now.
Yeah, she just needs to take a break. She just needs to back away.
I'm not saying this to say that like Grace deserves a bunch of hate, but like I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying like just stop. Like I just it makes me mad to see it because I'm like, Bri, I just hate that stuff happened to her. And then like I watched all the hate come in from the comments, and then knowing that she was in an abusive relationship while that was happening, and then like now this, and it's like Bri really hasn't done anything. And in BFFs, it wasn't in that video, but the weekend that she went to the Taylor Swift the closing night thing, she did like a Swiftie sleepover or something, and like it was with 2 of the people that like worked on Plan Bri with them, and like Grace didn't even post that story until Bri saw that or until Grace saw that Bri and 2 of the other people from Plan Bri were in Vancouver like having a good time. All I'm saying is y'all need to look at this with some different eyeballs.
Yeah. To me, as an outsider, because like I said, before we started this podcast, I didn't even know who Bri was. No shade. She's way bigger than we are. So I didn't mean that like that, but I didn't know. So as an outsider, it just seems to me like there was issues personally, like in their personal lives with them, and that business-wise they decided to amicably split, and then drama ensued when Grace made this statement. So
it just could have been avoided. She could have not said anything, and she knew that the internet was already ganging up on her about the Grace situation. But Bri is even now getting hate now that this has started to turn into a negative thing. She's now getting hate for being a fan of Taylor Swift because she used to say that she hated her, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
God, the internet's pissing me off the last few days.
You were a little unhinged on the glitter gel pen TikTok earlier today. By the way, shameless plug, go follow us on all social media at Glitter Gel Pen Pod.
No, I was just like seeing people just be so mean to someone that they don't know. It's like we jokingly like will hate on someone, but like I just like I can't imagine spending my time in the comment section fighting for people that don't know who I am.
Literally, yeah.
Literally,
we just make a podcast about it where we weekly talk about it.
I'll fight for Bri right here.
Yeah. For an hour and a half instead of typing.
I just am a fan of her, and I do not care like what the internet thinks about her. I'm just like people have lost their minds.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe I have to. I need to go to sleep. But yeah, I think that's all the topics that we have for this week.
Except one honorable mention. I do want to mention that Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco got engaged. Yay.
Good for Hailey Bieber.
Yeah. Do you think... No, but I did want to actually ask about this. Do we think now that she's engaged, Selena, that like the hate towards Hailey will stop? Because it's always been like people... I feel like they've almost thought like that Justin really wished that he was still with Selena and that they were going to get back together at some point, even though he's married.
I don't think that hate's ever going to go away. Unfortunately, it's the internet being their delusional weirdo selves. Like how long ago did Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez break up? You know,
literally probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I believe.
But I feel like I am not like a big fan of Selena at all. I feel like a lot of the hate that Hailey Bieber got, and like I'm not a fan of Hailey Bieber. Like I get like Mean Girl vibes from most of them. Yeah. But whenever Hailey would be I can't imagine what she's been through. Like that would suck. And there were so many times where Selena was caught liking Jillian fan posts, and like I swear Selena instigated that stuff. Like I don't know.
I mean, I even saw like whenever Hailey was pregnant, like they were walking and a paparazzi person asked like, Justin, are you going to name your kid whatever? Like, I don't know. It might be like Esmeralda or something.
It was like, a name that him and Selena liked or something. It was
it's like, can you imagine? Like you're pregnant with your husband's child and they're still asking like if you're going to name your baby what him and his ex-girlfriend liked for a baby name. Like that's so crazy and like so wrong.
I know.
So my hope is that now that everybody sees like she's actually 100% officially moved on, she's going to get married and they're both going to be married to other people, maybe like all of the drama that doesn't even actually exist between these two worlds and it just exists online will stop.
I hope so. But if I see Selena like another Jelena post, I'm a flip.
You'll be one of the ones fighting in the comments.
Yeah, I will be on the comments for that. I'll be like, you get that pussy. But yeah, I just, one thing about Selena that I didn't know, the Swiftologist told me this.
Okay.
So there is this Tumblr account about Selena Gomez, and it's someone that knows her, like someone on her inner circle or something. Like, it's someone that knows a lot of information about her, because it's been a lot of stuff and it's specifically a Selena blog, but like the things that they have known and it comes true, or it's real, or it ends up coming out like a year or two later, like the things that they knew.
So like Aspen Ovard's
Literally.
mother-in-law
Yes.
on Reddit.
It's
Okay.
crazy. There is like one of those for Selena. I forget the name of the page, but I don't even really want to put it out there. But the Swiftologist has talked about it before. But the entire thing of like, not that Selena doesn't have that lupus and like all of that stuff, but a lot of that was padding for her drug problem.
I've seen the Swiftologist talk about this.
Yes,
'cause they,
like
yeah.
Selena like came out of the Justin Bieber relationship looking like she was like an angel, and Justin was so bad to her, and I think he kind of played her and Haley like in that kind of way, but they were also all really young. But a lot of, I think, the Justin Bieber Selena issues were not Justin. I think that a lot of it was Selena being more toxic than the world is known her to be, and like I think that there were substances involved with more than we would ever know, because there was even an award show where Selena Gomez was supposed to perform with Taylor Swift. It was supposed to be a surprise performance. There were rumors about it, and Selena was on the red carpet, and she was so drunk, like on something. She was like not there, and like the performance ended up getting changed around or something. Like Taylor Swift was barely even like in the crowd with Selena on camera. I'll have to figure out what award show that was, but Selena Gomez is not who we think she is my thoughts on her.
Yeah, I don't really like her, especially oh my god, here we go again. I don't like her that much. Don't send her hate. I don't want her to be hated on. I'm not a mean girl, okay? But since that one documentary, like what was it called? My Mind and Me or something. She just seems a little whiny.
Yeah.
Like
ungrateful, maybe.
Yeah,
like, out of touch.
ungrateful. Yeah, that's how I would word it. Ungrateful. And it made me not like her quite as much. But yeah.
Didn't you see her?
I did see her in concert, yeah. Oh, no. I did see
I thought you like ran into her one time.
I did, yeah.
Okay,
I forgot about that.
Okay, tell him.
Okay. No, yeah, I did see her. I did see her in LA when I was there for a month. We went to Millennium Dance Complex like all the time, and she was actually like practicing for her tour at Millennium.
Which tour was it? Do you remember?
Stars Dance, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the one. Yeah. But I was in the hallway. Well, I knew that she was practicing literally in the room right next door. We could hear the music. We could hear everything. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And while I'm going to the bathroom, she is in the hall. She walks out. She's in the hall. She's on her phone. And then she starts talking on her phone. And I'm trying to eavesdrop because I loved Justin Bieber. So.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So I was like, oh, I think she's on the phone with Justin. Like, what if she's on the phone with Justin? I want to hear what they're talking about. And so I was trying to eavesdrop, but I think she was catching on that I was trying to eavesdrop because she started getting
No doubt. No doubt.
Because she started like talking real low and she kind of started looking at me. And so I was like, I guess I better keep moving. And so I went to the bathroom. And then when I came back out, she was back in her room practicing. But it was like a funny interaction.
Yeah.
And I always like remember it. She actually, in that moment, was not like, because I thought she was like so beautiful, you know? And just let me finish, okay? She was, when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's not like as pretty as I thought she was. But given.
Like, she doesn't look like her Instagram filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was practicing and sweating and dancing, and her hair was frizzy because she's been practicing and dancing.
But it was nice to see Selena Gomez looking like a normal human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she looked better than me. I was huffing and puffing, and I was red like a tomato. So she still was very beautiful. But it was just like a weird experience to see her like that, you know? But yeah, so that's it for that. And I think that's it for our episode today.
Yeah, the only day that we're going to be not uploading Podmas episodes are on Mondays, because you'll still get your regular, like, full weekly schedule episodes. So,
But you're going to see us every day from now on. So
Not every day from now on, but
every day from now on till Christmas.
yeah, woohoo!
Woo! All right.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next Monday.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a subscribe. We're only 17 subscribers away to our first little mini goal, which is so cool.
I remember when we were recording episodes and we only had 17 subscribers in
Yeah,
general.
or
So.
we only had 11 when I was hating on Chapel Roan, and now we're close to 100. So that's so fun. That's so cool. Thank you guys for listening and liking us. It's wild.
Yeah, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We do the video version on Spotify too, but it is on there if you like that.
Yes.
But we'll see you guys next month. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. TTYL.
Bye.